Good evening, my dear friend. Pastor Angel from the Ministry of Power and Grace, and I'm coming at you from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, spending a little bit of time with my family and just relaxing. But I want to share a thought with you that comes from Colossians chapter 3, verse 13. The Bible tells us there, make allowance for each other's faults and forgive anyone who offends you. Remember, the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others. Very important that you underline that word must, because we have an obligation to forgive those that in any way have done something wrong to us. Now, you've heard it before, and maybe you experienced it yourself, that opposites attract. When you're single and see somebody that's not like you, it can be a very fascinating thing. You find their characteristics and personality traits that are not like yours exciting, and you find them attractive. And that's usually what draws us to another person. Then you get in a relationship or you get married, and a year later, those exciting traits suddenly turn annoying. What once attracted you now makes you want to attack that person. Why? Because unrealistic expectations in relationships set us up for resentment. That's why it is so important that you understand what you're getting into and who you're getting involved with. Often, it's not the big things in life that make us resentful. A lot of little things can start to pile up. The irritations turn into resentment, and it's easy to forget why you love that particular person in the first place. Now, we are not all perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I would say that we are all imperfect. You're going to hurt people, beyond a shadow of a doubt, and people are going to hurt you. Whether or not it's intentional, it's going to happen. It's a fact that you're going to be hurt in life. No one goes through life without being hurt. The question is, what are you doing with that particular hurt? Are you going to let it make you bitter, or are you going to let it make you angry and resentful against that particular person? Resentment won't just make you bitter, my dear friend. It will also destroy any hope of a relationship that you have with a person. The people we love the most are the ones we often end up resenting the most. Now, the antidote to resentment is, according to the Word of God, forgiveness. Resentment tears down relationships, but forgiveness builds them up. If you're going to have meaningful relationships with other people that are going to last a lifetime, then you're going to need massive doses of forgiveness. That is why Colossians 3:13 tells us, make allowance for each other's fault and forgive anyone who offends you. Remember, the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others. Forgiveness is not an option. It is not something we do because we feel that it's the right thing. We have an obligation. Don't let resentment build up in your life because you're holding on to a grudge. You're only hurting yourself. You've got to let it go and learn to forgive that person so that you can start living a life of purpose. When you are filled with resentment and anger against someone else, it's basically like drinking poison yourself and hoping that it will have an effect on that person that you are angry at. So, my dear friend, turn it over to God, and He will give you the strength that you need. God bless.